The process of making pottery is, there's an awful lot of steps in the process of making pottery.
I love the design of it. That takes me to a whole another level. I mean, I can sit there for hours doing the design because that's exciting to me. You know, a pot can be just a pot, but when you put the design and the creative part into it, it totally changes it.
The process always starts with the preparation of the material, of the clay. Assuming you have already got a concept of what you want to make in the first place. The idea is the beginning of the pot, in that the clay doesn't have any will of its own. It is inert, inactive. So the preparation of the clay is extremely important, could not be overemphasized.
The clay, like I can move that, but then I can fix it. So it's vulnerable, but yet it's also, I can use it and form what I want to form.
The individual pieces are important, but I don't place a lot of preciousness on an individual piece as best I can. There are always standouts.
I might have, you know, an order, you know, somebody's ordered something or a store or whatever, so I have to make, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever bowls, or I have to make, you know, coffee mugs or cups or plates, whatever. And as you start out, I mean, it's absurd to me to think that, you know, this piece of clay can say to me, no, I think I want to be a vase today. You know, I mean, what? I don't think so. So if you make a plate and you form it up with the rim, like if I put this rim and I had it laid down, it would remember that at one point it was up, and as it dries, it wants to come back up. So when I have a plate, I have to force it back down.
The process of wood firing, for example, is a decision. It's an intentional decision to make pottery in a certain way, and pursuing that would probably be the most clear example of how sort of pursuing this pot or this ideal that that might not make sense to really anybody but me, or a similarly minded individual. We're not merely throwing heat at these. We're decorating the pottery as we fire. Do I think about God while I'm creating? Sure, absolutely. I mean, I spend a lot of time creating. That's sort of my job.
Thinking about, wow, he started us in this way, out of dirt, out of clay, and he formed us. And then also knowing that as a vessel, knowing that he breaks me, knowing that I'm also a vessel that is broken, that has been shattered, that has been, you know, hurt in many ways in my life, but yet he shines through that vessel.
It's the potter's job to make the best out of what he's given. You know, whether he purchases it from a store or digs it up out of the ground, each clay is unique, and it has its own characteristics. It has something that it does best or does well, and things that it won't do well. And it's the potter's responsibility to sort of fish that out.
You know, this passage is hard, just knowing that some people aren't going to respond to God. This is really the way that we need to go to follow him, and to really understand that is freedom. You know, that's where the grace is. Not being under bondage and thinking, you know, I'm going to force you into doing that. Yeah, that's kind of absurd to think that, you know, the clay can say, no, I think I'd pretty much. So, I mean, thinking about me saying that to God is absurd, but we do.
When we make objects as potters, we can't do anything but reveal ourselves. it is literally a manifestation of ourselves. We have an idea, we execute it exactly how we would execute it. I would make a different pot than you would make a different pot than Jennifer. If the metaphor is accurate, if he is the potter and we are the clay, like what can we learn from that? I had an opportunity to examine myself, and a lot of times I don't like what I see.